So everybody has been asking about this amazing tool.
Tell us what you are playing with right now, what it's called, and just all of it.
Okay. So we have our Stencil and Stamp tool that came out already, so it's on the market. This is what it looks like, and it has a large stamp platform lid right here, which is great for those larger stamps, and when you want to have that perfect precision with the hinge, you can get that perfect precision every time. But we want to give people the ability to create patterns and really nice, beautiful concentric wreaths. So that's where the Stamp and Spin comes in. This is the new accessory for the Stencil and Stamp tool. It's coming out May 1st, so very soon. And
you just pulled that right out.
Yeah, it pops in and out of the hinge really easily. It's an amazing tool to create all of these beautiful patterns and different types of wreaths right here, which you are welcome to show to everyone.
We just did.
So I was just explaining to these lovely folks right here that this is broken down into 8 pie slices essentially. They're 45 degrees. And then within the pie slices, you'll see that there's these lovely rounded marks. Those are just to act as guide marks to allow you to know where to place your stamp if you're creating the wreath. So the smaller the stamp, you're going to be closer to the middle here, or you can, put it further out if you want. You might just have to stamp it more. But this one, I don't want to go over the edge because I didn't want my stamps to touch. If I wanted my stamps to touch, I'd move it down a little bit more so I'd have a little bit of an overlap. But right here, I just want to keep it so that it does the perfect circle around. So you have this beautiful wheel. You place your stamp. It's double plastic right here, so you don't even have to really push down very hard to get that perfect image. But let's say it didn't stamp perfectly the first time, I would just ink again, and because I have that perfect precision with the hinge, I can go back. And then all I'm going to do is click my wheel towards me. You can do it either way, but I like to say do it towards you so you know which direction you're going. And then I'm just going to do that same thing again. So ink, stamp, twist.
So then you can either go towards you or away from you.
Yeah, you can go
I like
clockwise. I know, because you figure at least then you know which direction you're going.
Right.
But in a matter of minutes, you can have a beautiful...
Yeah, it clicks into place.
Clicks into place.
You can feel it, and you can kind of hear it go ding.
Yeah. So I've got this wreath, but let's say I want to add another one on. I'm just going to peel my stamp off real quick. And I'm going to grab, I want to grab a flower. And let's say I wanted to go in right here to fill in that white space. So if you're wanting to create like a really full pattern, like say something like this, or even like these, it's all about finding the white space. Because once you get that initial one, then you're going to go and lay your stamp in, and then you use your lid to then be able to align it, because again, it's the wheel. So at that point, you don't have to worry about the guide marks. You just really need them for that initial one, or if you're going to do another circle all the way around, you would use those guides again. But if you're wanting to create your own wreath, your own kind of pattern, you can actually just put it on the white space and fill it in and build out a shape or design that you like.
Now, we were talking about this because we got to play with these when I was taking some of the classes, and some people had it so that they're opening it to the side, but you could flip it to the other side if you were righty or lefty.
Yes.
And then some people had it faced where they were lifting up away from them.
Yeah,
So
that's the beauty of this tool, is it really, because there's no edges to it, you can work with it whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It has no edges, which means you can also work with bigger projects, which I think is great, especially for scrapbookers if they wanted to do something bigger on the back of a mixed media page or anything like that. Or if you're working on like gift wrap, all you have to do is just keep moving the gift wrap along and you can stamp. Now, this also has the ability to create patterns, and the difference between that is you have your lines here for your 45 degrees, but then you have these hash marks in here that create 90-degree triangles, and that's how you build your patterns. So you would work within here, click twice instead of once, that way you can repeat a pattern around in quadrants. So they're really easy to build out, and honestly, I've had so much fun with this. We have had a lot of really great feedback from people.
Wonderful. Everybody in the class was just like, this feels so much fun.
Yes.
It's almost like your stamping just got rejuvenated and it gave it a whole new life.
Yes. And the thing is it's really an intuitive tool. You can see it's very easy to use. The most complicated part of it is just figuring out placement. And I've been telling everyone, it took me some playing around with it to figure out what I did right, what I did wrong. Grab some, tissue paper, some computer paper, play around with it before you actually start making on your projects, because you're going to find after a few uses that you're like, oh, if I want them to touch, I just need to move it a little bit further down. Oh, I don't want them to touch, I just need to move it a little further up. And believe me, I made plenty of mistakes. So that's part of the fun.
Just playing. And then you might find a cool technique. You're like, ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yes. And I think honestly, the pattern was a happy accident. We weren't thinking about that. We were just like, oh, that's pretty Reese. And then we started playing with it. We're like, wait, you can do full patterns with this.
Yeah.
So, yes. Oh, I like to work one stamp at a time for bigger stamps, because I find that I want to get that placement right. But then when I'm going in, say on something like this, I did my butterflies first. And then I went and laid everything else in and stamped all the rest at once. So you can do multiple stamps at once. I personally find sometimes the stamps have a little bit of a ridge, so I can't get it as close as I want to, so then I'll do those ones separately. But I like to do the big ones first, because I feel like sometimes they're a little bit more intricate and you want to get a nice clean impression. So whereas with smaller stamps, you could load this up and stamp, 10 little ones at a time if you wanted to.
Are you doing it from sight, like I want it here and then you're moving it around, or are you doing it mathematically? Oh, I'm doing it force, so I need to go here and here.
So it really depends on, if I'm doing a wreath, it goes around 8 times. So this, I know I'm working with smaller stamps, I'm gonna click 8 times. But if I'm working with a larger stamp, I might need to click twice, but I'm only gonna stamp 4 times. So that's kind of where it becomes that intuitive part where you're gonna play with it to learn, but you feel the click. It clicks into place, it locks really easily. And then I was just saying, you don't wanna, this has the slightest wiggle to it, so you want to make sure when you're stamping that you like what you have before you move on to your next section, because you can't just go and again and stamp around, because you might run the risk of it double stamping at that point. Right. But it really, so if I wanted to go in, and we have these lovely botanical stamps that are coming out at the same time by Lisa Jones, and they're all kind of meant to work together. So you've got butterflies, we've got these beautiful botanical fruits. So I could mix and match my sets, but I've got 2 here now. It's all about filling that white space in. So you can make this as wide as you want it to, or as tiny as you want it to. It all depends on the placement of your stamps.
What's the biggest that on your site is?
So I have found, this is an 8-inch wheel, so you're obviously limited in the width of what you can do, but I have been able to create, I believe it's up to 7 inches for the patterns. You can see these go pretty far out. So this is a 8 1/4 piece of paper. So you can get it out, it'll fall off the edge a little bit, and you might have to press, the stamp down on just the outside edge. But I was able to get them to go pretty wide. So not a full 8 1/2 or an 8 by 8, but definitely 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 or 7 by 7. I've been able to get to about this size, which I believe this is a little bit bigger than 6 inches.
So what is cool about the mat of this particular stamping platform?
So our mat right here, and this is replaceable and reusable.
You guys hear that? Did you hear that?
It lasts for a long
And it
time.
lasts a really long time. So this is our sticky grid sheet. This is size A4. It fits perfectly on the base of the tool. And when you get the actual initial tool, you get one in your kit with it. And you lay it down. It has the grid system, so you can kind of use that for alignment and making sure that things are, your paper's lined up where you want it to be. It's nice and straight. And then you can lay it down. It's a low tack paper, so it's, something similar to a washi tape, a really mild washi tape. So it really holds it in place, but it does last a long time depending on how much you're using it. I've done one where I've had it for 6 months, and then there's been ones where I'm making like crazy, then doing batch making, and that might not last as long because it is a low tack. But they come in replacement packs of 5. but I'm telling you, those replacement packs will last you like a year. So you do get a lot of longevity out of them, which is great for, especially when you're doing stamping and stuff. You want that to last a while.
Is there a little bit of a give so when you're stamping into it, it's not like on a hard surface? You know, like you want to have that little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have on the bottom the foam so that you have that nice firm kind of element there so that you get a nice clean impression. I will say with any of the tools, especially these fine line stamps, you really do not need to push very hard, because if you push too hard, then they kind of start to push out and smudge a bit. So I always tell everyone, just, you know, light presses and then pull it up. You learn your own strength. Like I'm a little bit heavy handed. So if I push, like, it's gonna push that stamp to its max. But then you have other people where they're not pushing hard enough, and you might need to do a couple of impressions. But it really does, you can see it does not push down, it doesn't move. This tool sits at my desk every day.
So besides the stamping platform and the wheel,
Yes.
what else can it do?
It is also a stencil tool, which is amazing. Now, let me see if I have my stencils right here. I don't think I do, but I can explain this to you. So this is
like, it's not just the two things.
No,
Wait,
it does
more.
does so much more. And this is a tool that we'll continue to build more programs around. We'll be doing way more with it in the coming months and years. So it's an investment piece for sure, but it is a tool that has a lot of different elements to it, which is really nice. So this is our stencil adapter. It's a lovely little mint color, so you won't lose it. But what's great about this is we have these two little holes that act as the storage for it. So you don't have to worry when you're going.
I noticed that. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I missed that.
So when you are, you know, obviously some craft rooms, you don't have a lot of space. So now you can store it all together like this if you wanted to. And then you can just add this right in the front and
that's a
just
really
put it
nice
all
slim-
together.
Can you turn it sideways?
Yes,
So you
it's
see the-
very slim,
It's a
low
very-
profile.
Yeah.
And I actually keep this in at my desk in like a file folder organizer. It slides right in with my paper because I use a lot of our smooth cardstock. Our white smooth cardstock is like heavier. So it's great with mixed media, it's great with stamping and watercoloring. It holds the mediums really well. So I'll usually put a pack of those in front of this.
We're saying I need a bigger craft room.
Yeah, you and me both. I have a secret closet at my house that my family doesn't know about. Nobody needs to know.
Nobody needs to know.
So when you're stenciling, you actually don't need your stamp platform. So you're just going to put that off to, not the platform, the lid, sorry.
So what are all the little holes?
Yes.
You're getting there.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
asking.
you're fine.
I'm
You're fine.
practicing,
You've actually
jumping
got great questions. Just don't want to ink my hand, so I'm going to move that off to
Totally
the
get
side. So when we came out with this, we have stencils that have holes in them. I don't have any right here at this moment, but I'll explain how this works. So these stencils have the holes at the top. They attach right here because we offer a lot of layering stencils. So we wanted you to be able to place this on the hinge. So these, why it's called an adapter, is so that you can move your stencils wherever you want on your project. So your stencil would be here, attached here on these two little pegs, and then you can move it up, down. You can also put them here. These are a little bit shorter. I use them on here. It's not intended to be done that way, but you can if you want to. Just bear in mind you might need to tape something down just to hold the stencil in place. Because if you lose this and you want a stencil still, you can.
Got it.
So this particular one, I would have my stencil, I would do my lovely first layer, I'd peel it off, then put my second stencil on, and I would know that it's going to register perfectly that image on the layering element. We also have, dun, da, 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 I do have these. We have converters, so you can use
what if you don't have
anybody's stencils.
Fabulous. Because we all have our own stencils that we love,
Yes,
but we're
same.
loving this system and we're like, what do we
Yes.
do?
So with this one, you get 10 in a pack. And the idea is that you get these little plastic pieces. They have a piece of tape right here. So they're removable. If you've got layering stencils, we tell you basically once you've put them on, just leave them on because you're going to have to realign them again. But these fit onto here so that you can then use anybody else's stencils.
I also like the idea that now that it's got the little tabs, you can put a clip on them and that's a great way to store them.
Yes, absolutely. And what's amazing about this is you feel like an artist by the time you're done. I love to draw. I'm not an artist in that regard. And so when I first started using the stencils and like playing around with like backgrounds and images and things like that, I would pull it away when I was done with layer 4 and I'm like, I did that in like 5 minutes. So this tool is so much fun. It makes you feel like an artist. It makes you feel like a creative, and it's easy to use. It's not complicated whatsoever. We have lots of video content out there to support. I know Erin has done content for us and stuff. So there's always support for it. There's lots more to come for it, I will say. We just came out with stencils that you can stencil and then emboss. So we're constantly evolving the technology around the stuff we're doing with this too.
What if we lost that piece? Can I just pick up just this piece again?
That I'm not sure. Sales will be able to answer that one.
You were so good with the other question.
I believe, I don't believe right now that this one is sold separately, but don't quote me on it. Okay. It may be someday.
It's all good. Maybe something for the future. To think about.
Yes. Well, and I think that's...
Or because it might break or crack. Like you
100%.
You dropped it and you stepped on it.
You know what? That's a great question for me to take back from the show.
Gotta go. Well, thank you so much. And now remind us the name of the system.
So you have the Stencil and Stamp tool. Comes with your stamp lid, your platform base, one sticky grid sheet, and the stencil adapter.
Oh, so that comes with that.
This is all one cohesive little set.
So
then we'll have this tool, the Stamp and Spin, will be sold separately. This is coming out May 1st. This tool is already available. And then you can buy replacement sticky grid sheets in packs of 5 already, and you can buy the universal stencil converters in packs of 10.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.